Alright, welcome back to God's House Part 2. We're going to be looking at Second Heaven. I think through there, it's like an LCD screen up there. You see blue front gases that are lit up. And then at night time, you get to see ceiling at capes, stars, etc. I hope you enjoy it. Might explain what stars are. Thanks.
Go crazy. But according to the European Southern Observatory, the 4LGSF complements the Laser Guide Star facility. Instead of one laser, the 4LGSF sends 4 laser beams into the skies to produce 4 artificial stars by exciting sodium atoms located in the atmosphere at an altitude of 90 kilometers. 90 kilometers, people. That's about 295,000 feet from the surface of the earth. 90 fucking kilometers. There's sodium atoms. They said that there's a layer of sodium atoms up in the atmosphere, in the mesosphere, at 90 kilometers. Now, there are going to be people to argue to say, well, yeah, there's a sodium layer up there, so that doesn't mean that there's a dome and that's the limit to the sky. What about the Kármán line at 100 kilometers? Yeah, what about the fucking Kármán line? What about it? Because according to the European Southern Observatory, this bad boy delivers 22 watts of power, 4,000 times the maximum allowed for a laser pointer in a beam of a diameter of 30 centimeters. So you got 4 of these bad boys emitting 22 watts of power each, and they can only get to 90 kilometers, around 90 to 110 kilometers. That's what they can do. Okay? 90 kilometers. People, your dome may be, the covered limit to our ceiling may be between 90 and 110 kilometers above the Earth's atmosphere. That's what they're saying. Okay? They say the fluorescent light that is emitted by the sodium atoms and collected by the telescope has been affected by the atmosphere in the same way as the light emitted by real stars. So, the fluorescent light from the sodium atoms can be used by the adaptive optics system to measure and compensate for the distortions introduced by the atmosphere. Now, I'm not going to get into all this atmospheric science. That's something we're going to do for a later date because we're going to keep addressing this shit. Okay? But the fact that they said they're able to locate a layer of sodium in the upper atmosphere at between 90 and 110 kilometers, it might confirm what is below is above, or what is above is below. We got seawater at sea level. That's sodium. Highly concentrated. Salt fucking water. And you're telling me there's a layer of sodium above us? I gotta rethink everything now. I gotta rethink things regarding the fucking lunar wave, meaning the moon is within our atmosphere and it's floating around up there in some sort of fluid, dynamic environment. If you throw in superfluid helium with that, I just don't know. This is real shit that we got to start experimenting with. Real shit. Because sodium, if you bring it down to almost close to absolute zero, like with helium-4, it's going to freeze over. Could that explain how the ice is coming out of the fucking sky? That is so it's so cold up there that this shit just freezes over and drops out of the sky? There's been ice balls just drop out of the fucking sky. Has anybody ever tried to taste the fucking hailstone that came out of the sky to see if it's salty? This shit is giving me some serious food for thought, people. Serious fucking food for thought. 90 fucking kilometers. 90 kilometers. Which means that our entire constellation system our entire fucking constellation system is no higher than fucking 110 kilometers, give or take. Meaning that all the fucking stars are somewhere around 300 fucking thousand feet, people. 320, 330,000 feet. After that, they ain't fucking nothing. They ain't no fucking stars deep out in fucking space. Now, that's just me fucking throwing that shit out there. All right? I'm not trying to be irresponsible about it. But if our fucking constellations are somewhere between 90 and 110 kilometers, that means anything beyond that, it's just nothing but fucking blackness. There ain't a goddamn fucking thing out there. So what the hell are they claiming is Mars, Venus, Saturn, Mercury, Uranus, Pluto? All these deep fucking space nebulas, all this other bullshit. Where the fuck is this shit? Because according to ESO, our constellations are between 90 and 110 kilometers. And they're creating artificial fucking stars, 4 of them at one time. But wait until you see how this presentation progresses, okay? Just stand by.
The Allgäu Public Observatory lies amidst the picturesque landscape of southern Germany. As night falls, a team of scientists and engineers prepares to field test a very cool piece of technology, a laser guide star unit, which will soon be on its way to ESO's Paranal Observatory. This is the ESOcast. Cutting-edge science and life behind the scenes at ESO, the European Southern Observatory, exploring the ultimate frontier with our host, Dr. J, aka Dr. Joe Liske.
Hello and welcome to the ESOcast. Today we are at the Allgäu Public Observatory in southern Germany, because this is where a team of scientists and engineers from ESO is testing a brand new laser guide star unit. What's that, you ask? Let me explain. Now, we've all looked at the night sky and seen the stars twinkling. Now, the stars themselves, of course, don't do any twinkling. The twinkling is caused by turbulence in the Earth's atmosphere. As the starlight crosses the atmosphere, it encounters different pockets of air, with different temperature and pressure, which bend the light in different ways.
Now, I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was sort of like an atmospheric disturbance, like sort of a wave, okay? You got to start thinking that lunar wave issue now. Because if what he's saying is true, this explains why that lunar wave is possible, on how it's possible.
Thus causing distortions. In fact, you can see this effect often in broad daylight, whenever you look towards a distant object on the horizon on a hot day. Now, the twinkling is all very pretty and even romantic, but for us astronomers, it's actually a real problem, because it means that our images are blurred and less sharp than they could be if it wasn't for the atmosphere. So, what do we do about it? Essentially, we need a method to cancel out the distortions, in effect to untwinkle the stars. The way to do it is to bounce the starlight off a mirror that is slightly deformed in exactly the right manner to cancel out the distortions. But how do you know how to deform your mirror?
As ESO's very large telescope observes the sky, a specialized computer can pick a bright star and constantly monitor how it twinkles, deducing the atmospheric conditions above the telescope many hundreds of times a second. The computer then sends commands to a series of devices attached to a mirror in the telescope, bending and flexing it precisely in time with the atmospheric turbulence, cancelling out the distortion in the images.
So for this correction process to work, you need a really bright star in the field of view of your telescope. But bright stars are very few and far between. And remember that the VLT was designed to image only a very small part of the sky at any given time. So for most observations, there just won't be a bright star in the field of view of the VLT. So what do we do now? Well, we make our own. 90 kilometers above our heads, in the upper atmosphere, is a relatively thin layer of sodium. If you fire a powerful laser beam into the sky, you can make these sodium atoms glow, thereby effectively creating an artificial star for the computer to lock onto.
In 2006, ESO installed the Southern Hemisphere's first laser guide star on the VLT. This system greatly improves the telescope's power, meaning that the VLT can make even sharper images than Hubble for certain types of observation. But this is...
Did he just say make sharper images even better than Hubble? Yes, he did. He says that a ground telescope can produce sharper images better than Hubble, which is supposed to not be in atmosphere at all. Okay? It's supposed to have a clearer view of the nighttime sky than anything on the ground at 330 plus miles. That's what he said. So anybody want to still question if fucking Hubble is really where it's supposed to be? I think it's in the fucking ocean. Exactly what I said to the deputy program manager. And now, when they're talking about there's this thin layer of sodium up in the atmosphere, and they shoot a laser at it to make it glow. Oh my God, man. This is just getting too good now. We're starting to put all this shit together now. Now this shit is starting to come together. Let's keep listening.
The existing system has limitations. It can only create one artificial star at once, meaning it can only correct the telescope's vision for a small part of the sky at any one time. It's also very bulky. The equipment has to be kept in a separate laboratory, and the laser beam fed along an optical fiber to the telescope.
Based on the experience obtained with this first system, ESO engineers have been working to build a much improved, new laser guide star unit. So, Domenico, this is it. This is the laser. It's incredibly small. It fits in the back of this small telescope. That's amazing.
Yeah, so this is what we've been working on the R&D for the past 5 years to make a 20-watt laser, very compact and lightweight, that it can be mounted directly on the back of the telescope. So we had to develop fiber lasers first and then develop this kind of laser heads.
So you've just said it. It's a...
And I've got this guy's cell phone number and his work phone number and his email address, and I will be calling him and emailing him this week to have a live interview with him to discuss what he created and what the potential maximum capability of that laser may be. I've got a lot of questions to ask this guy, Domenico.
20-watt laser, that's quite a bit of power, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the power we'll need actually for the next generation laser guide star systems. And right now, for example, in Paranal, we have about 5 watt in the sky. So this is quite a jump in power.
Is the laser beam that comes out at the end of this telescope, is it dangerous? What happens if I put my hand into it?
If you put your hand, you'll feel warm, but you don't have to look into the beam.
Okay, so it won't burn my hand, but what about airplanes? Is it dangerous for them?
It's not dangerous for the equipment, so for the airplane. It's dangerous for the eyes of the passengers. And this laser is above the maximum permitted exposure, so we have to avoid that planes cross the beam. In fact, here where we are now, we have obtained a no-fly zone for above us, so we don't have a risk to hit the plane.
The new device is more reliable, easier to maintain, and much smaller. In fact, as we've just seen, the whole unit fits into one small package, which is easy to mount on a launch telescope.
Because it's so much smaller, up to 4 of these lasers can be installed on a single telescope, correcting the VLT's image over a much wider field of view.
So what's happening here in Germany is that our team is testing the new prototype to make sure that it works perfectly before it gets shipped to Paranal. The facilities here at the Allgäu Public Observatory are perfect for this, and what's more, they're only a short drive from ESO headquarters.
Laser guide stars like this will be crucial for the forthcoming European Extremely Large Telescope, which will use adaptive optics routinely. The telescope will be many times the size of today's biggest telescopes, which should mean much sharper image quality. But this great image quality will depend on how well the adaptive optics and the laser guide stars work.
Pioneering new technologies like these will make a big difference to the world's most advanced observatories of the future, especially the EELT. This is Dr. J, signing off for the ESOcast. Join me again next time for another cosmic adventure.
While we were filming this episode, we got a stark reminder of why ESO's telescopes are located on the mountaintops of northern Chile and not here in the hills of southern Germany. Thankfully, storms like this are not something you ever see at Paranal.
So, when we look at this thing, you gotta start asking yourself some questions. They can put 4 of these lasers on one telescope. The Paranal Observatory in Chile has 4 of these large bad boys. So that means they can create 4 stars from one telescope, 16 stars from 4 telescopes. Okay? Artificial stars. The artificial stars they're creating is they shoot these lasers at the sodium atoms up in the sky at 90 to 110 kilometers. Make them glow. Make them glow. So that they can get a fix on some other star they want to look at. But that other star can't be beyond 90 or 110 kilometers. It's got to be within that 90 to 110 kilometers. Period. That's what this facility is doing. That's how they're creating artificial stars. I wanted to know how they were doing it. And I wanted to know what the capacity and capability of this telescope was, this laser guide star facility. And they're shooting these lasers up in the sky at 90 to 110 kilometers. That's where your constellations are. Now, here's what I want to do. I'm showing you photos right now of the Egyptian pyramids, on how the light was able to travel inside these pyramids. Look at it, cosmic particle detectors. The light was able to travel inside these pyramids and outside of it, meaning it was collected somehow. And, you know, I got somebody else who's a YouTube channel, Lee Bracker. Lee talks about breaking down the fact that pyramid, pyra, means fire. Mid means middle. Is it possible that these pyramids were used for the same exact artificial production of some other light show? Is it possible? Is it remotely possible that the pyramids were designed for the same exact purpose?
Next, new questions about that mesmerizing moment in the California sky. New video showing a car crashing as the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launch illuminated the night above. ABC senior national correspondent Matt Gutman with the moment confusion set in.
Oh my God!
Tonight, new images surfacing of California going haywire.
What the hell is that?
That mysterious contrail, liftoff of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket sailing smoothly into the Friday night sky.
Wow, what is
The
that?
sight so mesmerizing that some motorists couldn't keep their eyes out of the sky and on the road.
This guy is not paying attention.
And even after those three cars crashed, the narrator in this video barely skips a beat. He just keeps talking about that shape in the sky.
Wow, what is that?
The rocket's unusual whale-shaped contrail feeding a frenzy.
If you're wondering, that bright thing in the sky was a missile launch.
And so many were wondering.
No, dude, what is that?
So many didn't get the message that the hashtag aliens trended on Twitter. Calls flooded TV stations with UFO sightings. And the man who created the mess, Elon Musk, jokingly capping it this way.
Vladimir Putin lost some of his as Russia races to colonize space. Several mysterious metal orbs originating from Russia crash landed in Vietnam's Hien Hai and Trung Quang provinces Saturday, giving locals quite the scare. Metal balls crashed down in northern Vietnam at around 6:30 a.m. on Saturday. The smallest, weighing 250 grams, smashed through the roof of the house. The 6-kilogram sphere, proportionally similar to a basketball, fell on a target. The largest object weighing 25 kilograms on a kitchen scale to an exercise ball, and it was to a straw. Strange balls like these three have landed in other places around the world. Several different grades.
And social media of what's supposed to be a very strange rock that was also found in Egypt and has some sort of superpower. In one of the videos posted by Multiversali on Reddit, it shows some of the strange properties that this rock has. Check this out. In the video, a man holds a paper with the date supposedly written on it. When he places the rock next to a water bottle, it becomes red. But it gets stranger. Take a look.
Now, enontole ku? Ndoza tunakola separate one by one. So kolinde ku. Otya. Eh.
When placing a Coca-Cola bottle side by side with the rock, the bottle simply bursts somehow. But it doesn't stop there. In other videos, a different type of rock was shown with similar properties.
Nachukua yote. Umechukua video?
And when these videos were all posted, they amassed millions of views and thousands of comments, and internet users were completely baffled by it. No one knows exactly how or what is going on here, but there are a couple of ideas, one of them being red mercury. Now, if you don't know, red mercury isn't exactly the same thing as mercury. The origins of red mercury are hazy. Evidence of it can be found in the work of medieval alchemist and philosopher Jabir ibn Hayyan, who wrote, "The most precious elixirs to have been blended on earth were hidden in the pyramids." In ancient cultures, it is believed that this elixir, being red mercury, had special powers. It could cure people and much more. The thing is, in some of these cultures, it is believed that this red mercury or elixir was buried together with the pharaoh's mummies inside their tombs. Now here's where things get really interesting. On July 2020, similar videos were posted online, videos that showed a supposed Egyptian rock that could do strange things. It would boil water. It would mess with electric devices. And it would have absolutely no reflection in a mirror. It really is one of the most mysterious videos out there, and to this day it hasn't been completely explained. In this video, a man shows that red mercury does not reflect itself on mirror, it repels from garlic, and the list goes on. It's somewhat a vampire substance. However, other videos show that normal mercury does not behave like this. In other words, whatever the substance is, it looks like mercury, but it's something entirely different. Is this real? Is it CGI? Is it something else? What is really going on here? Now, red mercury supposedly does not exist. It's just a bedtime story. However, these videos show the opposite. And there are many internet users stating that this is indeed red mercury. But still, I'm not sure. What do you think is really going on here, and how do we explain some of these videos? What's your take?
Exploring the tunnel, archaeologists have discovered an enormous pool of liquid mercury, and supposedly, it is a massive quantity, filling a mysterious basin at the end of the tunnel. Could a king's tomb or ritual chamber possibly lay far below this pool of mysterious mercury? Mexican researcher Sergio Gomez has somehow been allowed to release all of these amazing discoveries, found beneath the Pyramid of the Feathered Serpent, publicly, receiving little academic resistance since. Mercury is toxic and capable of devastating the human body through prolonged exposure. Academia perceived mercury as having no practical purpose within ancient Mesoamerica. But interestingly, it has been discovered at other sites. Rosemary Joyce, a professor of anthropology at the University of California, Berkeley, said that archaeologists have found mercury at 3 other sites around Central America, not to mention our own research into Oak Island, which has also held a legend of liquid mercury for many years. Its presence in Teotihuacan is undoubtedly perplexing and intriguing. Gomez speculated that the mercury could be a sign that his team is close to uncovering the first royal tomb ever found in Teotihuacan. The mercury may have symbolized an underworld river or lake, Gomez postulated, an idea that resonated with Annabeth Hedrick, a professor at the University of Denver and the author of works on Teotihuacan and Mesoamerican art. Quote, "The shimmering, reflective qualities of liquid mercury may have resembled an underworld river, not that different from the river Styx." Hedrick continues, "If only in the concept that it's the entrance to the supernatural world and the entrance to the underworld." End quote. Not only did the people of Mesoamerica clearly figure out how to create or derive liquid mercury from mercury ore, they also knew of deep underground water systems and lakes that could be accessed through caves. Rosemary Joyce said the ancient Mesoamericans could produce liquid mercury by heating mercury ore, known as cinnabar, which they also used for its blood-red pigment. Yet, just how these ancient people managed to figure all these amazing things out remains a mystery.
When the angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from heaven, blazing like a torch, and it fell on 1/3 of the rivers and the springs of water. The name of the star was Wormwood. 1/3 of the waters became wormwood, and many people died from the water because it had been made bitter. Proverbs 5:3. For the lips of a forbidden woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil, but in the end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps follow the path to Sheol. Revelations 8:10. The name of the star is Wormwood. 1/3 of the waters became wormwood, and many people died from the waters because it happened to make them bitter. This is
mirror